Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here tonight for a little bit of another late night edition of the NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 playthrough. It is a Featherlite Modified series. We got a couple of short races for you guys here tonight with the Featherlite Modifieds, and it should be good. We only have 6 races left on the season, so things are heating up there. Our fantasy driver, all these guys, hence our fantasy drivers, the one that you guys voted for me to race as, Chuck Spicer, currently leads the points coming into this race here tonight, or these races. First race will take place at the Redball Raceway. It'll be 100 laps for the Hoosier 100. And then the second race will be at Levi Straus's signature speedway. That will also be 100 laps. These are the full-length races, but with the modified series, because the races are shorter, we run 2 in the same stream. So no practice, no qualifying. We're just going to hop in. This is the second race at Red Bull this season. The first race here was the season opener. So let's see how these drivers will be able to react. Green flag is in the air. 22-car field. Making their way through. Now, the first race at Red Bull this season was 150 laps. This one only being 100. See how aggressive they're all going to be, knowing it is a much shorter race. Spicer finished 8th in the season opener here earlier this season. Some beating and banging in the opening couple laps in the middle of the pack right now. 3 wide in the middle of 1 and 2. Up the middle, what a move. Couldn't tell who that was that went in between Spicer and whoever the driver was on the outside. Slight bit of wheel touching there going on in the middle of 3 and 4 again. Spicer got a tad loose with it, but hangs on to the race car. Sparks are flying all over the place throughout the middle and the back of the pack at least. Guys are fighting for position. Near dive down to the bottom now by the car on the outside of Spicer. Almost chopped him off. Three wide, but Spicer's just going to give up the spot. At least the attempt that he was going to try to make to possibly get a pass. Slight bit of contact off the exit of turn 2 as he slid up the track. Can't tell who that is on the bottom making moves way up ahead of Spicer, but he is diving it deep into the corners just like Spicer is, but he is getting through this field a lot quicker. Spicer almost let a car underneath him getting into turns 3 and 4 now. Gonna pause it down the back straightaway real quick because I need to get the chat on my laptop. Patrick Shadley and Kyle Larson fan, welcome to the stream. Now going to get back into rhythm again. Already 8 laps complete. No cautions in the modified series in the NASCAR 2005 playthrough, so just remember that. If we see an accident, we're going to have to see some major wreck avoidances, or things could stack up quick, especially being on a short track. And yes, Patrick, the return of Chuck Spicer. The long-awaited return. Spicy Chuck Spicer. Already 10 laps in. These 2 races are going to fly by. Second half of the season, a lot of the races are much shorter, 100 laps in length versus 150 for a lot of the short track races earlier in the year. The 115 car has led every lap from the pole so far. Is slowly kind of pulling away from the field. 192 stuck on the outside. Good battle for second on back, though. Through about 8th, they're all bunched together. Whoever this driver is in the bottom lane that is making up ground, Spicer's basically just following him all the way through the pack. Now he'll get underneath. And Spicer drove it in a little too deep down to the bottom, and then the 82 crowded Spicer and made a little contact, not allowing him to get back up on the racetrack in the racing groove like he wanted to. Just about wrecked. The 115's lead starting to vanish now that we have a new driver in second. The 192 trying to swap under the 163. I'm saying a lot of the numbers because I can't really remember a lot of the drivers in this series. It's been a while since we've ran the modifieds with NASCAR 05. A little bit of a wheel touch there. Got to be careful with these open wheel modifieds. Very easy to barrel roll them over. Spicer with a big block in the middle of 3 and 4. Whoever's in third place right now, might be the driver to beat because Spicer has just followed him all the way through the field. Spicer gets a run under the 192. We have one driver up in smoke down on the apron of the racetrack through the front straightaway. He'll have to nurse his car to pit road, so one driver out of the race, leaving 21 left in the race. Driver does make it to pit road this time. Top four all within 1 second of the race lead. Spicer going to have to just follow Travis Foster in the 175. He has followed him all the way through this field, and they're up to now second and third. And I'd assume these are the two fastest cars in the field, and they're going to try to run down the race leader. Might just follow behind Foster. I just wait for Foster to make a move for the lead. Oh no, a little bump and run off the exit of turn 2. Gotta be careful with these cars being open wheel. Foster crowds him back, and there's a little bit more contact, but Spicer is clear for second place. And he wants to be the one to get to the lead, and now Foster likely going to have to follow Spicer. George Dennis has led the first 22 laps already tonight. Goes a little wide off turn 4. Spicer to the inside into turn 1. Chuck Spicer to the lead, clear off turn 2. Cuts down to block into 3 and 4. First lap led of the night for Spicer at lap 25. That'll be 5 bonus points. Spicer does lead the point standings coming into this race. They had 3 finishes outside the top 10 all season. Oni, welcome to the stream. Spicer's definitely driving it in deep. He's getting the car, for the most part, to stick with the left side tires down on the apron. Most of the tracks in the modified series, you can go full throttle. Well, obviously, Spicer overdrove the corner that time. If you can angle it off right, you can go full throttle at most of these modified series racetracks. They don't really reach high speeds with them running on short tracks. They got a lot of grip for being open wheel, much like what you see on IndyCar or in the IndyCar series. Cars are just so much lighter than a big, heavy stock car. Carry mid-corner speeds a lot faster. Not have to lift quite as much. 30 laps complete. About a 6/10 of a second lead right now for Spicer. And I'm sure lap traffic will spice things up a little bit. Second time that Spicer's got a little wide off the exit of turn 2. Still just hanging on. Now, Travis Foster is not up to second place yet either. He has still been stuck behind the 115 car. I'm sure once Spicer gets... I should say, when Foster gets to second, he might have a run at Spicer. They're definitely the 2 fastest cars in the field, or at least the ones that got through the traffic the quickest at the very start of the race. Now we got our second driver blowing an engine in this one. Our 2 engines have failed in the first 40 laps of tonight's race. First of 2 races, of course. Next one on another short track, a triangular-shaped racetrack at the Levi Straus Signature Speedway. And that'll be 100 laps as well. I don't know why this race is named the Hoosier 100. I feel like the race at IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park, should have been the Hoosier 100. Unless this fantasy track of Redball Raceway takes place in Indiana, I guess. Maybe. We don't really know where these fantasy tracks are located. They could be outside the U.S. for all we know. 8 to 9 tenths of a second lead, 40 laps in. Can Travis Foster get the second and try to put some sort of a chance to get a run on Spicer? Because he's losing time while he is running behind the 115 for right now. Spicer's all right with it. He's just slowly pulling away. XY Games, welcome to the stream. Doing pretty good. How about yourself? Fastest lap of the race for Spicer is a 13.531. This track just less than a half mile in length. Or a 3/8 mile. Hence the extremely quick lap times. So 100 laps on a 3/8 mile, especially when you know there's not going to be any cautions with it being the modified series. It's going to be a quick race. Almost halfway done already. Might be the quickest race of the season. We haven't had too many shorter races. This might even be the first 100 lap race of the year. I really can't remember. Well, I guess Old Spice Speedway would have been 100 laps, so that was on a road course, so obviously that was going to take a little bit. Spicer a little wide off 4, barely kept it off the wall. Still about a 1 second lead. He scraped the wall twice off the exit of turn 2 since leading. Now we have a third driver who has blown an engine on the inside of the racetrack. Travis Foster still sitting in third place right now, almost halfway home. About a 1.1 second lead right now for Chuck Spicer. But if Foster can get to second place, he's really the only other driver that might be able to put a run for Spicer's money on the line. Right now, it's just a walk in the park. Foster might have to use the bumper here before long. The race is already winding by so quick. We're almost halfway. Kyle Larson fan, welcome back. Lap 50, so we'll be halfway this time by. Cross flags will be in the air. We'll have 50 laps to go. Again in the wall off turn 2. Spicer about to get to his first lap car. We'll have to see what the lap traffic will do in the second half of this race as well. Only 19 cars still on the racetrack, with 3 of them already blown an engine in the first half of the race. .7 second lead at the line this time. 46 to go. Spicer sitting behind the lap car for now. Ooh, a little contact off the exit of turn 4. And now a little contact getting into turn 1. Spicer's definitely got to be careful. Got to get around these guys clean if he can help it. Ashton G, welcome to the stream. So after the Watkins Glen race, I think we'll be in the playoffs. I don't know what you're talking about. I know the final race for the truck series in the regular season is Watkins Glen. The playoffs will start after that. If you're talking about the Cup Series, there's still 4 more races before the playoffs for the Cup Series. They got Watkins Glen and the Indy Road Course, then Michigan and Daytona for the regular season finale. Oh, jeez. Too big of a dive that time for Spicer. Lead is down to 1.2 seconds, but Spicer had to lift quite a bit off the exit of turn 4. Still got 39 laps to go at the line this time. Spicer no longer has clean air now that he's in lap traffic as well. Got to get by it pretty quickly. Not sure if Travis Foster is up to second or not yet either. Ethan, welcome to the stream. I did not see Newman's new paint scheme, no. So Spicer's got 2 lap cars in his way. The 191. Can't tell what the number is on the other car. Low exit to turn 4. 191 really pinching Spicer down. Richie Reed. Pretty great, cool racing name right there. And he's just going to follow Reed to get by one of those lap cars in his way. And he might just have to follow Richie in. Oh, wow. That car they just passed blew an engine out of the rear view of Spicer as well. Spicer finds himself in line. 1.6 second lead. It's fluctuating quite a bit in lap traffic now. Know why the playoffs aren't starting yet? Because they haven't ran that many races yet? There's been 36 races in a season for a long time, and ever since they started the chase / playoffs in 2004, the final 10 races have been the only races in the playoffs. So. Oh boy. Spicer just got passed by one of the lap cars he already got around. He gave up the bottom a little bit. Now he gets back underneath that lap car in 3 and 4. Not quite clear yet. Now he'll clear him into turn 1. So he's going back and forth. Still a 1.4 second lead. 29 laps to go this time by. But you read the 191. Spicer kind of lets him go getting into turn 1. He doesn't want to risk making a move on Richie and running into him and costing himself the race here. Spicer did not win at Redball in the season opener, finished 8th, so he wants to make sure he can get the win here tonight. Expand that points lead a little bit more as well. Oh, and there's the contact with Reed he did not want. Spicer's just clinched the most laps led. Now we'll clear Reed off turn 2. The lead's down to 1.2 seconds. 26 to go. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. Atlanta Cup Series for 05 for you. There you go. Man, it's 4th time now. Spicer's gone a little wide off turn 2. Got into the wall, and Reed gets into the left rear. Oh, Reed's up in the air. Up and over goes Richie Reed as he got piled into from behind by, I believe, the second place driver after hitting the wall head on and driving into the left rear of Chuck Spicer as they were both battling for the bottom. Heavy damage to whoever was in second place. Maybe a lap car. Richie Reed goes on his lid. And again, we've stayed green in the modified series. No cautions. That actually busted this lead out to about 1.8 seconds now. How much damage does Chuck Spicer have on the left rear of his race car? 21 laps to go to hang on. Leads down to 1.7. And if Foster wasn't the driver in second, that'll put him in second now. And he's got a pretty equal car with Spicer, but now Spicer's got a little bit of damage. He's hit the wall a few times off turn 2 as well. That doesn't help. the most part, the lead's kind of staying between that 1.7 to 1.9 second gap. For right now, at least, Spicer to the back bumper of another lap car that he's going to kind of be a little bit patient with, at least in turns 3 and 4. Now we'll dive to the bottom off turn 4. Got plenty of room to get around him. He's got a little bit before the next lap car. We'll have 16 laps to go at the line this time for Spicer. I think Richie Reed's out of the race after that accident. I would have to assume somebody pulled onto pit road with heavy damage. Or Blaney merch when attending non-NASCAR events. If it's an auto racing event, then yes. Like if I go to a sprint car race, I'll be wearing my Blaney stuff. But I don't. I'm not going to be wearing it going to like a Packers game or something. I'm going to be wearing my Aaron Rodgers jersey or something that genre of sports related. Going to a Tigers game, I'm going to be wearing my Tigers jersey. Caused that wreck when you put the... Is that when I moved down? I honestly can't remember. I definitely crowded him a little bit in the middle of the corner. He held his line pretty well. I just came down a little too tight. And unfortunately, Richie Reed got the worst end of it. At least it was a lap car that got taken out. And I think it was a second place car that piled in. It could have been one of the lap cars that we had already passed as well. 9 laps to go. 1.7 second lead still. One more lap car in front of Spicer, and that'll be probably the final lap car he'll even catch today. 8 to go. Gonna look to pass him cleanly into turns 1 and 2. Give him plenty of room. Spicer's clear off turn 2. Gosh darn it. I was looking at the chat. That time I hit the wall up too. And it leads down to 1.5 with 6 laps to go. We definitely have to concentrate a little bit more in the second race. Got a little sloppy in the second half. Been a while since I've raced these race cars on this game. That a little rusty. The wind might not show that, but kind of hit my marks and stuff. I've been overdriving the corners quite a bit in this race. Luckily, Spicer's got a fast car. 1.4 second lead. Too little, too late as far as second place closing in, it looks like, with no more lap traffic in front of Spicer. They'll be coming to 3 laps to go this time by. No caution, so he's still going to have to hope everybody keeps it clean to the end, that he doesn't pile into somebody. But I mean, the only time I really wear my Blaney stuff, more often than not, is on race day. Whether I'm at the track or not. If I'm there for like an Xfinity truck or a cup race, I'll be wearing the Blaney stuff. If I'm going to any sort of auto racing deal, whether like when I go to the IndyCar race on that Saturday in the Xfinity race, the Saturday before the Cup Indy race, Indianapolis race, and yeah, I'll be wearing it then too. That's pretty much about it. Well, checkered flags in the air. Chuck Spicer will take race 1 win as he wins the Hoosier 100 at Redball Raceway. Worst attempt at a victory celebration I've seen in quite some time. What was that? Spicer T-bones the inside wall. I need to get off the middle of the corner. That'll probably help. I mean, even the straightaways got quite a bit of banking here. It's almost like Dover with the banking on the straightaways. There we go. Burn it down. sloppy finish to the race for ourselves as far as hitting our marks, and then a sloppy burnout at the very beginning, but we made up for it in the end of it. We'll take a look at the finishing results to today's race number 1. Again, race 2 will be on this stream. Modified races compacted 2 races into 1 stream. 77 laps led for Chuck Spicer. George Dennis led the first 23 laps of the night from the pole. Those were the only 2 leaders in this 100-lap event at Redball Raceway. Travis Foster ended up finishing in 3rd, so the top 3 stayed the same. I think they just kind of checked up after the accident and allowed Spicer to pull away for another half a second. Elmer Cadwell finishes in 4th. McMillan finishes 5th. Walker finishes 6th. George Myers 7th. Glover 8th. Calhoun 9th. And Barnes rounds out the top 10, with only the top 13 finishing on the lead lap. And we had our fair share of DNFs in that one. Richie Reed obviously DNF'd after going airborne in an accident at lap 76. Then you had Donnelly DNFing, McFarland, Kennedy, and Dempsey, all 5 drivers to fail to finish in this one. I want to see the highlight reel just to see Richie Reed catch some hang time. He didn't get in the air after hitting the wall, but he got just drilled from behind after he T-boned the wall, and that's what popped him into the air. Easy to do, open wheel race cars. Even if the wheels rub together, it's easy to pop a car in the air. I don't know if it's going to show it or not. There's nothing there. I doubt it's going to show it. Spicer, modified champ. Getting closer. Only 5 races to go, and the next one's coming up right here. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the Chuck Spicer incident. 1.8 second victory. As far as the other stats go, just that 1 lead change. Total race time was only 22 minutes to get these 100 laps in around this short track. I'm going to have to mute because I think the music's going to be playing. The music was playing there, but there's no lyrics, so I shouldn't get copyrighted for it. Hopefully you guys can't hear it on my mic. I'll mute the TV just in case as well. I don't want to get copyrighted for the stream just because of the music playing on the game. All right, Steel Mill 100, Levi Straus Signature Speedway will be next. First, we'll check the point standings before we enter into that race. And we'll start from the back in this one as well. No qualifying or practice. Like Bristol Dover combined. But it's asphalt, though, too, where those 2 tracks are concrete. So it's kind of weird. And it's not quite, I mean, it's shorter than both of them, too. It's shorter than a half mile. All right, so looking at the standings, Spicer's got a 140-point lead. Again, 190 points is the max amount of points you could score in a single race. Dennis finishing 2nd right there. That was big. He probably didn't have a top 2 car, but he finished 2nd. He was able to hold off Foster the rest of the way, and getting those 5 bonus points leading the first 23 laps helped. But the fact that the points leader got the max points day and won the race, of course, with finishing 1 spot ahead of him, he still lost about 10 points, 15 points actually today. Would have been the total net loss. All right, on to the next one. Race 2 of the doubleheader. That was 22 minutes. This track's about equal in length, so
it's that time once again, race fans. We're only moments away from the start of the Steel
get to listen to
EA Sports and the Levi Speedway.
I forgot his name. Bill Weber. That's right. It's kind of hard to hear Bill right now with saliva jamming in the background. You could hear him at first, and then when the bass was really kicking in, you couldn't really hear him anymore. All right, green flag in the air. We are underway. Racing once again at the Levi Straus Signature Speedway. Spicer got into a wreck in this race earlier this season. One of his finishes outside the top 10. Got into not one but two wrecks in that race. It's very narrow, triangle shaped racetrack. There's a little bit of a checkup off turn 3 this time. More contact off the exit of turn 1. Spicer going to be very patient. He knows he's got the points lead. He doesn't want a bad run in this one. Carries great speed off turn 3 again. Only 100 laps. Again, this race was also 150 laps earlier this season. Oh, contact with the back of the 177. He got hooked on Wade Davis. And Davis ended up clipping the wall. He falls back to the rear. Once Spicer made the contact with him, he just could not get off of him. Really pinched off by the 192. It's just such a narrow racetrack. Especially at the pit wall on the inside in turns 1 and 3. It opens up a tiny bit in turn 2, but the exit is pretty narrow. It's 3 wide, a little bit further up ahead. Spicer trying to go low. Thought better of taking it 3 wide at this racetrack. Doesn't matter what turn you're in. Need a clean pass. It's up to 18th. Just following the car ahead of him, making the moves once again, just like in the last race when he followed Foster through most of the field. He gets clipped almost into the pit wall on the inside into turn 3. He had to lift quite a bit to get the car to the outside without running into the pit wall. That would have been catastrophic. And now there's a crash. They check up off turn 2. Going into turn 2, off turn 1. Nobody completely spun around, but pretty heavy contact. Spicer got into the back of somebody pretty heavily. Bunch of checkups around this racetrack. And Spicer's got some damage to the nose now. A little more contact further up ahead in turn 3. Spicer makes the move down low off the exit of the corner. He'll have that dive bomb move into turn 1 now. And another pass. More contact, 3 wide off the exit of the corner. Into turn 3. They made it. Spicer to 13th. The only reason that door opened up when they were 3 wide is because of the contact the cars in front of him made. Now they check up off turn 1 with a little more contact behind him. A little bit of a rivalry shaping up out of the rear view of Spicer's race car. That's a little loose off turn 3 that time. We're already on lap 12. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Spicer low, makes a pass in turn 2. He's up to 12. 4.5 seconds off the lead just about. Starting to make his way with clean passes for the most part. Just shot the 163 to the inside of the 187. Nope. Ducks out of line, pulls back in line behind him. Big dive into 3 by Spicer. Barely keeps it off the 187. Side by side for 9th. Doesn't seem like the damage on the front nose of Spicer's car is hurting him any. NASCAR will be racing at Auto Club next year. The only reason they didn't this year is because they weren't going to be able to get fans at the racetrack with how early in the season it was scheduled to be. So that's why they ended up running at the Daytona Road Course again. Otherwise, they would have ran Auto Club this year. That was the only reason it wasn't on the schedule. So yeah, they'll run it. And will it take the place of the Daytona Road Course? I would assume so. If they have the Clash on the Daytona Road Course again next year, which I think they already said they will, then I would assume that there won't be a points race on the Daytona Road Course. Side by side in front of Spicer, 4 position. They move up the racetrack just a little bit. Spicer with a little nudge is going to get underneath both and make the pass into turn 1 up to 7th. Chuck Spicer trying to come from the rear. Now the 108 got into the wall off turn 1. He's going to lose another spot. Just gaining 1. He ends up losing net gain of 1. -1, I guess. Really big dive into turn one. Spicer hooked the corner beautifully. So close to that inside pit wall. Really aggressive with the cornering. But he was able to make the pass with it up to sixth. Another move to the inside off turn three. 191 in front of him now. Can he stay under him off the exit of one into turn two? And Chuck Spicer, don't look now. He is inside the top five, and we're only 20 laps complete. It looked like it could have been a much uglier start. Finally starting to get through this field. We didn't even alternate through the different camera angles at all in the last race, so I'll definitely make sure we do it in this race right here. The Levi Straus Signature Speedway. 4 races to go to crowning a champion after the checkered flag flies here tonight. Spicer closing in. Might have a shot at 4th here before long. 82 goes a little wide in turn one. Spicer to the inside. And really tight on one another. Spicer up to 3rd. Pretty close battle for the race lead right now, but Spicer is closing in quick. Only a quarter of the way through the race. Spicer definitely going to have to be patient, though, when he gets up here. He wrecked not once but twice earlier this season at this racetrack, so he doesn't want to risk anything here, especially in the first half of the race still. Now that he's made his way through the traffic, he can kind of dial it down a little bit. He'd like to get to the lead before lap traffic, but no guarantees that that's going to happen. It's George Myers in second place, right in front of Spicer. Spicer backs out of the corner into turn 3, letting him go. Has the run off turn 1, gets crowded into 2, so he's just going to let Myers go. Myers really putting the pressure on the race leader himself right now also. Another dive off the exit of turn 1. Spicer down low. Kind of hooked the apron pretty well in turn 2. Lane opens up. Spicer to second place. And now Spicer's going to go for the lead. Into turn 1. Lane opened up. Chuck Spicer leads off the exit of turn 1. And now can he hang on to it? 5 bonus points at the start-finish line this time by. A little bit of a slow start, but he picked it up quickly. Sure, lap traffic is going to be hectic in this one as well. I almost say he's hitting his marks a lot better in this race than what he was even at Redball. And Redball, what I would think would be a lot easier track. It's wider, more banking. With that, it's obviously a little bit faster, but it's hard to get in a rhythm with these 3 very, very different corners. Top three, though, still easily within a second of one another. R6, welcome to the stream. All 22 cars still on the lead lap and still on the racetrack as well. Top 7 or 8 cars have really kind of pulled away, and then there's a little bit of a gap. That's really deep into turn 1. Oh, we got trouble. Car in the wall off turn 2. And heavy lap traffic now in front of Chuck Spicer all of a sudden. So we already have our first accident of the race. Not sure if that car is going to be able to get to pit road or not. Somewhere around the racetrack, and I think he's limping it through turn 3, so there might be a little bit of a checkup here. Where's it going to be? Cars are braking everywhere. Spicer almost into the back of somebody. Contact. Somebody just ran into the back of the car up in smoke. Spicer makes it through and pulls away now to about a 3+ second lead. Second race tonight, and we've seen a caution now in each race. Car's going to try to make it to pit road. It is slowing up the leaders a ton right now, and Spicer put even more cars a lap down. Slowing them up in turn 2. Spicer's coming in hot. Oh, he got into the back of the lap car and tried to cut down. Spicer was coming in hot. Bit of damage now to the right side of the race car for Spicer, but he's got just less than a 5-second race lead. A bit of a crossover move. He's getting crowded into turn 3. Finally made it to pit road. Somebody turned into the wall. Might have been probably the same driver who was smoking. Luckily, nobody ran into the back of him when he was sitting backwards in turn 2. They were coming in hot. It's the thing with it being short tracks, too. It's such a blind corner on the exit. But that definitely helped Spicer. He only had about a half a second lead. Now it's over 4.5 seconds. A little bit of damage to the right side of his car, but he got through the big portion of the incident pretty, well, really cleanly. He never really made contact, even busting his way through there. Oh, car got really tight in line behind Spicer into turn 1. See all these lap cars in between the top 2 as well. That really helped Spicer. Spicer got involved in 2 accidents. He missed the first one. We gotta see if we get another one before the end of the race. Lap 50 at the start-finish line that time. Makes a clean pass on one of the lap cars in turn 1. 5-second lead opened up now for Spicer. Jeff McFarland. The 187 next lap car. Just up ahead of Spicer. Halfway. 50 down, 50 to go. This race is quick, that is for sure. Knowing that these races are going to be going caution-free in the modified series. It's only 100 laps, just like the first race tonight at Redball. These are the full races. That's why we do 2 in 1 stream. Spicer really overdrove 3. He got on the brakes pretty heavily to keep it off the wall on the inside. As he almost overdrove the corner, he was still able to clear McFarland off the exit. Spicer trying to get a max points day. They didn't take the lead till lap 33. Should have been leading lap 32. So even up to this point, he still hasn't even led the most laps, but he leads to the end of the race. He will clinch it. It could be back-to-back, not only wins, but back-to-back max points days, both after starting last without practice or qualifying at each. But it is a second trip back to both of these tracks that we're running at tonight. And I believe the only other racetrack we have left this season that we have not ran at yet would be IRP, if I'm not mistaken. It should be the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Another trip back to New Hampshire. I believe we have another trip to Old Spice Speedway, if I'm not mistaken, for our second road course race of the year there at that same road course. And then the season finale at the Dodge Raceway. .40 laps to go at the start-finish line. 5.8 second lead for Chuck Spicer, but that doesn't mean anything. We saw one accident already that Spicer had to miss, and that's why he got such a big lead. He was only half a second ahead at the time. Definitely helped him out quite a bit. Drove it in a little too deep in turn one that time. Both the lap cars in front of him chasing their cars up the racetrack. Door opened up in turn two for Spicer to get to the inside of one of them. He'll make a nice clean pass in turn three. He's going to lap a lot of cars by the end of this. They got jacked up in that one accident in turn two. Gets cut off on the exit of turn two into three. Let him go. He's trying not to force the issue. He's being patient about as much as he can in the lap traffic, especially with this big of a lead. Just got to survive to the end. Got his first win of the season at Redball earlier, trying to get his first win of the season at Levi Straus Signature Speedway. Both in, yes, 50 lap shorter races in the first race of the season, but when he didn't win in the first race of the year at either one of these two tracks, it's nice to get a new trophy in the trophy room. New piece of hardware. Spicer was able to make a clearance off the exit of turn two that lap. Already just 34 laps to go. Oh, big loose moment getting into turn one. A little contact. The lap car is in line behind Spicer, who he just passed. Big loose moment. The first car that was in line behind Spicer, when he got up the track, he barely kept it off the wall and then kind of got ran into off the exit of the corner from underneath. Oh, Spicer just got nailed into the inside wall off of turn two. Got really pinched off. I don't think that lap car realized there was somebody underneath him. Gives the lead lap back to two drivers. And the lead that was at 6.8 seconds now down to about 5.2. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Indeed, modified doubleheader. We're in the second race already. First one only took 22 minutes. This one's probably going to take less than a half hour as well. A little bit longer lap times. About 3 seconds a lap longer, but still a 100 lap race. A couple cars chase up the racetrack at turn one. One of them bounced off the wall. That was the car that pinched Spicer down, and Spicer thought he had Howie Black clear in the 86 off the exit of two, and he got into him as well. Dive into turn two. Spicer got crowded through that short chute. And when he got crowded, he overdrove turn one because he had such an, or turn three rather, because he had such an awkward angle getting in. Now he overdrove turn 3. Track that's so hard to get in a rhythm, and now that rhythm has been broken, obviously, these last few laps. And again, Spicer to the inside of one of the lap cars. He's hoping he doesn't get pinched this time. A lot more room, but now he kind of overdrives turn 3, trying to get to the inside. And he's starting to battle lap traffic, which he does not want to do right now. He'll let the first car go. Fall in line in front of the next car. Pushes a little wide off turn 2, scrapes the wall again. Only 24 more laps. It was a 6.8 second lead down to 4.7. Spicer trying to regather the race car. Going to alternate through the different camera angles for the next 4 laps. One final time we'll do that here in the doubleheader tonight. And about Chuck Spicer. Starting to build that lead back up again. But again, he's kind of caught behind another lap car. He overdrove turn 1 into the inside wall with a tiny little scrape. Open wheel cars, though, can't absorb as much contact. There was some damage on the nose. Spicer's race car a little bit earlier as well. 20 laps to go. Let the lap car go ahead of him again. Honestly, the laps wind by so quickly here. He's perfectly content with staying behind this lap car in front of him and sparing him. That would be Travis Foster, who is coming in off a third-place finish at Redball Raceway earlier tonight. Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream. Let me show that comment Oni sent in as well. Spicer just clinched the most laps led about a lap and a half ago. Lead down to 4.4 seconds roughly, but Spicer's really not looking at passing this lap car. Although he has lost about a half a second in about 2 to 3 laps. But he's hoping by just sticking behind him and not trying to pass him that it'll actually be quicker than battling back and forth like he was there for about 5 laps. Big thing here is just hoping everybody makes it cleanly to the end. You just have to avoid another accident. It's 14 to go this time by. Still 4.2 second lead. No engine failures, but we did see a wreck taking out one of those drivers in today's race. 21 cars still on the racetrack. We had 5 DNFs in the last race with one wreck in that one as well. Laps to go at the start-finish line. See, he's kind of baiting him because Spicer could have gotten underneath him in turn 1 and he jammed the brakes to stay behind him. He doesn't want to risk getting crowded again. But with him running that higher lane, Spicer is lifting even more to stay behind him instead of going for the gap. Spicer being extra patient. Lead down to 4 seconds even. 10 laps to go for Chuck Spicer. And a big corner there in turn 1 for Spicer. Gains quickly to the back bumper again. Inside, off the exit of 2. Jams the brakes. Lets him go. Really backed the corner up quite a bit with doing that. But really hoping that this car in front of him could just run the inside and Spicer doesn't want to be this patient, but he's forcing himself to do it. Spicer overran turn 1 a little bit. Stays low into turn 2. Oh, he slid up the racetrack a little bit, but he did clear the lap car into turn 3. So I guess he got around him anyway. The lead down to 3.5 seconds, but now he'll probably pull away from him. He won't even have to plan on catching another lap car the rest of this race. As long as they keep it clean, that is. 6 laps to go at the start-finish line. Lead's definitely not going to close in as much anymore. He had 6.8 seconds to work with. He used over 3 seconds worth of that lead, but he knew he had time to kill. And when you know there's not going to be any cautions, a little bit easier to not race as hard as you can to get to the white flag. 4 to go. Less than a minute away from the checkered flag already. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Chuck Spicer's got 2 more turns now, and they'll sweep the doubleheader here on a Friday night for the Featherlite Modified Series action on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Another win for Spicer this season. This one in the Steel Mill 100. His first win of the year at Levi Straus Signature Speedway in the 2 races we've had here this season. Just like Redball, he takes the shorter of the 2 races. Maybe these shorter races is what Spicer needs to maybe help him win these races. I don't know why you keep piling it into the inside pit wall in these burnouts. Did that in Redball too. This track, there isn't even that much banking. At least Redball, there was a little bit of banking. Even on the straightaways. I mean, there is here too, but not as bad. I just backed it in. Yeah. Track's too narrow. That's alright. Hey, look, it looks like a ribbon. That's pretty cool. I don't know, I just kind of noticed that. Alright. Spicer swept doubleheader and modifieds. Indeed, indeed. Expanding that points lead with another max points day in both races as well as he led the most laps. 69 laps led in this one. Nice. 31 laps led for Elmer Cadwell. Those were the only 2 leaders, just the 1 lead change. Just like in the last race, Spicer led 77 in the first race out of 100. So a little bit less here. It took him a little bit longer to get to the lead. There was a bit of a stack up off turn 2, a couple laps in as well. It kind of cost him some time to get to the front. But once he got there, it was pretty close. It was a lot closer. He wasn't really pulling away like he was at Redball, but then we had that accident off turn 2 with the lap cars in front of the leaders, and that pulled Spicer out to about a 5-second lead. Then he was able to get out to a 6.8-second lead before getting into heavier lap traffic, where he decided that he had a big enough lead, not that many laps left, not going to get a caution in the modified series, so he knew that he could back off a bit, and the lead at the end of the race ended up being 3.7 seconds, but Spicer knew he had that time to give up and still won by a decent amount. Kennedy finishes second. Elmer Caldwell, who led the only other 31 laps in the race, finishes third. Walker fifth, and George Dennis rounds out the top 5. Sixth place was Wayne Huckabee. Seventh was Richie Reed, bouncing back after flipping at Redball earlier. Glover 8th. George Myers 9th, and Ross rounds out the top 10 with 11 cars finishing on the lead lap. We had 14 on the lead lap at the end of the first race, and Dempsey was the driver involved in that accident at lap 40. He was the only driver that did not finish this race. So we'll take a look at the point standings once again. And once we look at the point standings, that's going to end the stream. Next race will be at the Old Spice Speedway for the Cherry Blossom 166 lap event there. That will likely be tomorrow night. We'll probably run another Modified Series doubleheader on the channel tomorrow, with it being another work night. And I knew I was going to get home a little bit later today, and I'm probably going to get home about the same time tomorrow. So we'll run 2 modified races, but 66 laps on a road course at the Old Spice Speedway. First race there was 100 laps. The shorter races working out for Spicer versus the longer races we had. I mean, still short, but longer races earlier in the year. That was, 50 laps longer on the 2 races we ran earlier. George Dennis still second in points. Chuck Spicer obviously still the points leader. Dennis did not finish in the, he did not finish in the top 5 like he did in the first race tonight when he finished second and led some laps. Elmer Cadwell is third in points right now. 175 points is the difference between first and second. You can score up to 190 points at the most if you lead the most laps and win the race. But it's a little over 1 race worth of points ahead, only because there's only 22 cars on the field. So although you can score up to 190, I can't remember what the least amount of points you could score is. I know it's in double digits, but it's not like you could still. I don't know. I'd have to look into it before I start rambling and start guessing numbers that aren't correct. All right. Yeah, that's gonna wrap things up here tonight. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. Even if you didn't hit that like button, it helps the streams out a ton. Helps me out a ton. On top of liking, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We have full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every day, as you saw here tonight with the Featherlite Modified Series on NASCAR 05. We'll be back at it again tomorrow with the Modified Series with another doubleheader, all in the same stream. Old Spice Speedway will be the first race. The second race, we got to check here. Did not check yet. So first race will be 66 laps at the Old Spice Speedway. Then we go to the Indianapolis Raceway Park for the first time for the Cardinal 150. So that'll be a little bit longer than the 2 races we saw earlier tonight by 50 laps. And then New Hampshire Dodge Raceway to round out the season. 4 races left. We'll see if Spicer can win the championship. Gonna see you guys tomorrow. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good rest of your night.